right. This is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I'm here with Caged Katrina.
Ooh, I get it.
Yeah, she is in a cage right now. So we are here to talk about a brand new film, 2025's Locked. This one is starring Bill Skarsgard and Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, he hasn't been around for a little while, at least not that I know of, but he's in this one. And we got a writer. We have a few writers. It was actually based off of an Argentinian film called 4x4.
Oh.
Yeah. It came out in, I think it said 2015.
Hmm.
So Mariano Cohn and Gaston Duprat wrote 4x4.
Oh, okay. 4x4.
And then Michael Arlen Ross wrote the screenplay for this one, for Locked.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we got David Yarovesky, who is the director for this one. And the plot is, after breaking into an SUV, a thief realizes that he has slipped into a sophisticated game of psychological horror.
Man.
Yeah. So this one I saw the trailer for maybe a couple of months ago or a month and a half or so. And it piqued my interest. When did you see
the trailer? Like in
theater? It was online.
Okay.
It was like someone posted it, or like, I don't know. I see trailers everywhere.
Okay.
And
I see trailers in theaters.
Yeah. I see them if I go on X. Mainly.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where they pop up first. And so I saw it and I was intrigued. I thought, okay, this looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Bill Skarsgård, Anthony Hopkins. I was like, okay, that's a good cast too, especially Anthony Hopkins in this kind of role,
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter. And but then I kind of just never showed up anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
There was no trailers in theaters or anything.
Yeah.
Like we, other movies that we saw.
No posters, anything.
Yeah, no, I don't know why it didn't get marketed very well, but anyways.
Yeah, marketed at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not in a lot of theaters over here. It's only in limited theaters.
Which is why it's only the two of us.
Yeah.
Because it's not even in Joel's.
Yeah. And this is, pretty well produced and like well acted and professionally done. It's not like I don't know what the budget was, but it doesn't feel like a low budget movie.
You don't know the budget, huh?
No, I don't.
Man.
Sorry. But with those actors, it's probably pretty good.
Not a small budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine they got paid pretty well.
Yeah.
So.
And it's interesting. It kind of gave me the feel of like phone booth and like those kind of. There was more than one location, but mostly one location. Yeah, that was really cool. And like really the only the two actors predominantly. There were a few times where there were a few extra people, but they would I feel like be extras. You know?
Yeah. Definitely not even like supporting cast.
Yeah, maybe one.
Yeah.
But
but wait, before we get any further, we're not going to be giving away spoilers. Spoilers will be on Patreon only, patreon.com/scaretalk. It's where you get spoilers. That's where you get exclusive episodes and where you get early access to everything that we post. This one has a lot to spoil. So we'll probably have more to say in that portion of the review versus this portion. So,
and that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Because then we can just talk.
Yeah.
You have to be so careful.
And if you're on YouTube, please like the video. Please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us get out there and reach more people and get a bigger audience and a bigger community of Scare Talk.
I like how you reaching.
Reach, please. Okay, so.
Okay, but I have a question.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgard. Skarsgard. Okay, whatever his name is. Pennywise.
Yes.
Has he been in a lot of stuff where you actually see him?
He was in Barbarian. He was the guy who was at the IMDb Airbnb. The Airbnb.
I'm like, there was IMDb in there?
The Airbnb when the girl shows up, he was already there. So that's one. He was only in like 20 minutes. I mean, he wasn't in a lot. I mean, there are others. I can't think of them right now, but he does do like, because he was Orlok in Nosferatu as well.
Oh,
he was the vampire.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was the Crow, the newer.
Oh, yeah. I see that. Yeah. I definitely see that.
Yeah.
He looks like Pete Davidson.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah. Did I say that when we watched The Crow?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
He definitely looked more like him in this one.
Yeah, but
in The Crow.
Yeah, especially with his pink sweatshirt.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of
hair,
that, like,
bleached hair.
Yeah.
He has that look.
Yeah. Okay, that I just had to know because I'm like, that's not what I expected him to look like.
Yeah.
And so I was like, is that him?
You can kind of see it if he gets a good smile going. You can kind of
see
the Pennywise.
I'm good.
Okay, well, I think he did a really good job in this, as far as his acting.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you said, it's a one location predominantly type of movie.
Pretty much.
Reminded me of Saw.
Yeah.
In other ways. Which is also a largely one location movie.
Yeah. And at Saw. Yeah. One point, Anthony Hopkins referenced I think it was a horror character or something. And I was thinking he referenced Batman. And I was thinking, I feel like he should have referenced John Kramer.
Yeah, Eddie reference. Like, who do you think Eddie, you are? Like Batman or something?
Yeah, it was Eddie that said it. Okay. Yeah. But comparing him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think he's a little bit more like John Kramer.
Yeah. Yeah, in multiple ways.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about later.
That.
But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty, basic premise. A guy tries to steal a car or tries to steal things in the car, breaks into the car.
Yeah.
Gets locked inside, and the owner just plays games with him. And so you can imagine what kind of movie that is. And I, there's some of it I didn't like, as far as just I couldn't pick a side at times.
That's what I liked about it, though. That's what I actually really like. While watching it, I was thinking, this is so good.
Yeah.
Because I feel for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I like that. And sometimes I want to be like, yeah, Like...
but by the end, I had a side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely had picked a side.
Yeah.
So it's like eventually you get to a point where you're like, nope.
Yeah.
I know where I stand at this point.
Yeah.
But they did a great job just right from the beginning helping with that. Because if they hadn't done the work that they did at the beginning of the movie, it would have been a lot easier to pick a side. But with the work that they did at the beginning of the movie, you were torn. Yeah. And that will make sense on Patreon.
I kind of battled with that. I don't know if that's a negative. I liked one character and then I liked the other character, and I kind of went back and forth. And it reminded me in a way of Heretic, where I was like, kind of, the one guy I liked, but then I'm like, no, you're full of it,
Yeah.
And so I didn't, but that was like a negative for me with Heretic, because I was like, I want to get on board more with you, and I couldn't. And so I kind of have that kind of feeling with this one too.
I think that's your own internal struggle of trying to figure out where you stand on these higher concepts.
Yeah. I don't know, for entertainment value, I'm like, I want to root for somebody.
That's the thing. I think it takes you out of the entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because now you're in your head.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I see this person's point of view, but I also kind of see this one. And I, while I have a heart for this, I really agree with this, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard to like, I want a character to root for,
mm-hmm.
And this movie especially.
But it's hard when there's just not really a right or just situation.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I don't know, for some reason Crash is coming to my mind of like just that moral dilemma, and it's like who you think you're going to be rooting for, then you end up rooting for the other person, or like it's like, oh wait,
everybody's kind of got their own, nobody's perfect. Everybody's kind of got their own,
and there's
things.
And there's like something that led them to the point where they're at. And it's the same thing in this situation.
Yeah.
Each of them are at a point where you aren't really on board with either one of them, really. It's not even that you're on board with both of them. You're kind of off board.
Yeah.
But you also have a heart for both of them because you understand what got them to the point. Each of them.
Yeah.
What got each of them to the point where they're at.
Yeah. So yeah, that was something I was battling with, and I like more when it's an entertaining, like in a movie I have someone to root for.
Is it? Well, I'll ask that later.
Okay. Everything else is positive, and then one more negative. I didn't like how the situation in the car got resolved. I like the end, but I don't like what happens before the end.
So you just gave it away that it got resolved.
Well, resolved. I mean, anything can happen with a resolution. Yeah, so the movie ended. I didn't like that.
Oh my god! We weren't we're still in the theater.
So
I don't know what you mean. Like, so we're gonna have to talk about that further.
Okay. But overall, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was good. There's definitely some blood and some violence and things like that. It's more of a thriller.
Yeah.
Than a
psychological
horror.
Thriller.
Yeah.
That
has something to say though too. So.
I would say my biggest positive is that I like just how much I really felt for the character. And
the character or characters?
Characters, but more so one more than the other.
Okay.
And this movie got me to a point, I don't know if you heard me, but in the theater, I'm like talking to the screen. Like at one point, it got me to a point where it was like, no. And there were a couple points where I was like, you have to move, no, stop, like, okay. And so I like when it has me like that invested
to that level.
Yeah. I was tired. I felt my eyes getting heavy, but I was able to jolt out of it because I was very engaged.
Okay.
So that
kept Katrina's attention.
Yes. So that is a huge positive.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I don't know that I have like much of a negative. I don't know that I have really any big negatives. I would say I don't know. Yeah. I think I'd have to like really dig deep for a negative. I don't really have.
Yeah, much. I mean, it's not like there's clear things. Like it's not like the acting was bad or the writing was bad or too much of it. I mean, definitely some unrealistic stuff in the movie, but it's not too crazy unrealistic.
Yeah.
So there's not like glaring issues with the movie. So and I just love when movies can be held up by like just a very small cast.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
And Anthony Hopkins does his Anthony Hopkins thing where he's delivering the lines in a certain way to where if it was a different actor, it wouldn't sound as cool. Just his accent and his laugh and his
Did you know it was him like before going into the movie? Did you already know it was him?
Yeah.
If you hadn't known that he was in the movie, would you have known that was him?
Yeah, I think
from the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't recognize his voice at first. He had like almost like a accent.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he had like a thicker accent, I think, in this.
Yeah, I never really thought of Anthony Hopkins as having like that kind of accent.
Yeah.
Like it was.
He does, but I think in this one it was thicker. But like the movie Fracture with him and Ryan Gosling is something I'll always remember outside of Silence of the Lambs as being like that manipulative character, and he reminded me of that character in this.
Okay.
So anyways,
all right. Well,
let's see what the critics say about Locked. So, Rotten Tomatoes.
You're gonna do it, huh?
Sorry. I just realized I'm taking your job.
Okay.
Well, Rotten Tomatoes, this is fresh. We got a 67%.
Yeah.
For the tomato meter. and for the popcorn meter, there is not enough.
There's not a score.
Yeah, not enough data yet. This just came out today.
Well, maybe advertise it and maybe have it in more theaters and you'll have a popcorn meter.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I didn't spill any popcorn during this movie.
Okay, so what about
popcorn during this movie?
What about IMDb?
IMDb,
what can we say about that?
Has it at a 6.6.
6.6. All right. That's solid. That's a very solid score on IMDb for this genre.
Yeah, I think it could be higher. Yeah. But there's only 167 reviews.
Oh, wow.
So we got time.
Yeah, if this was marketed, I feel like people would have went and seen it.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh,
it's
definitely.
These two big actors, this
it's
cool
big
plot.
Actors, it's great plot. It's like people like movies like this where it's one location kind of movies.
Yeah, and we don't get a lot of them.
Yeah, I think that when they do come out, they're very well received.
Yeah.
And definitely get the interest.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they didn't market this. What
I don't know.
What production company did this?
I'm not sure. I don't know. We missed that part of the movie. The beginning missed, production like logos and stuff. So didn't get to see that. So I'm not sure. But yeah, go see it. We definitely recommend it. You might have to look for it. It's not just it won't maybe be just in the closest theater to you. You might have to search around a little bit, but go see it.
It's worth it. Go search.
Let's get our scores.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
You do yours.
Okay. I'm gonna go 83. I liked it.
83.
I don't know that I'll care to watch it again. But I really liked the experience. It was good. It's a good movie. It's just I don't feel like it has a lot of rewatch value.
Okay.
Like it's not that fun. It's not fun enough for me to want to rewatch it because I already know everything that's going to happen and stuff. So.
Yeah. It's more thoughtful. Yeah. Definitely, not really like a super rewatch.
Yeah.
But I think it was like the fact that I can't think of negatives.
Yeah.
And that I really, really appreciate the character development that I feel like was so subtle. And at one point I was like, oh, look at that. They're trying to help us like build a connection to the character to make sure that we like him, you know? But there was only one part. I mean, I guess you knew what they were doing with that, but it was subtle enough that it wasn't like, I'm not going to take the bait, you know? And I don't know. I just felt like it was really well done. So I'm going to give it a 92.
Wow.
Yeah, because, I mean.
Very good.
If I don't have anything negative to say, it has to have an A.
Yeah, I guess like. So those are good scores. Joel, if he were here, I would guess he'd be more in between us.
Okay, so
but
Joel
closer to me.
90.
I think he'd be closer to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Joel, let me know. I say 83. Yeah.
83. I thought it was 86.
No, 83. I think Joel would probably give it like an 86, 87. Joel's
87.
Yeah. So Joel, I know you're watching this. You watch everything that we do when you're not there. So when you watch this movie,
he's probably hacked in the computer.
Let us know
right now
what your score will be. All right, guys. So go to patreon.com/scaretalk and continue to see us over there because we're going to talk about spoilers. And there's a number of things to talk about, including the moral dilemma. Let's see where we kind of stand with all of that discussion. All right. Okay. Otherwise, see you later.